This is episode 100 of the No Tracers podcast. I hope you enjoy it. This one is with Exploring with Josh. Let's jump into it. Step into the world of decay, abandonment, and chaos. The story of an urban explorer starts here, at the beginning. Welcome to the podcast you've been looking for all along. This is No Tracers. Here, we take only photos. We leave only footprints. And remember, leave no trace. What's up, guys? Welcome back to No Tracers. I'm your host, K, just the letter K. I'm known as No Tracers. You can find me on Instagram at no.tracers, No Tracers on TikTok, notracers.com for my photography books, my blogs, all that stuff. And the new YouTube channel is No Tracers Urbex. This week on the podcast, it is episode 100. Yes, 100 episodes of No Tracers. We're over 20,000 downloads. Thank you guys so much for listening to the No Tracers podcast. If you want to come on the show, hit me up at no.tracers on Instagram or contact@notracers.com. I'm also hoping to receive, if you would like to send one. I'm going to start doing listener tales. So if you guys have a story you'd like to share but don't necessarily want to come on the podcast, but you want to share your story, shoot me an email at contact@notracers.com and I will read that email on the podcast. You can use your name. You can do it anonymously, however you want. But listener tales, they're coming. Thank you guys for submitting those. This week on the podcast, I'm speaking with Exploring with Josh. Yes, the Exploring with Josh. I've been following Josh for several years now, and I've always wanted to talk to him about exploring. And now is my opportunity, and I am so very grateful that he took the time out of his crazy travel schedule to jump on the No Tracers podcast to share his story with us. I hope you guys enjoy it. Before we get into it, I got to thank our partner on the podcast, Liquid Death Mountain Water. If you've never heard of Liquid Death, well, hey, it's a water company. They can water, so it's canned water. They have still, sparkling, and 3 sparkling flavors of water: mango chainsaw, severed lime, and berry it alive. If you guys want to check it out, use code JustTheLetterK at liquiddeath.com or click the link down in the description. You get 10% off your order. Thank you, Liquid Death, for partnering with me. I appreciate you guys. Lastly, if you guys want to pick up my new book, How to Explore Abandoned Buildings, go check it out at notracers.com. There's also a merch line. We got beanies, hoodies, t-shirts, all kinds of stuff on there. Thank you guys. Without further ado, Exploring with Josh, welcome to the podcast. Let everyone know who you are and how long you've been exploring to the No Tracers audience.
All right, so what's up, guys? My name is Josh from the YouTube channel Exploring with Josh. I've been exploring, honestly, maybe for the last, I'd say 10 to 12 years. But on the internet for YouTube, I've been exploring for about 8 years now. Give or take.
So what got you into exploring in the first place? Like, what was your first introduction to abandonment and urbex?
All right. Yeah. So what happened was I was skipping school one day. I was in 10th grade and my friend had a car and he's like, hey, to kill time, let's go to this abandoned place that I used to go to, because he used to live next to an abandoned asylum. And so he would just go there whenever. I don't really know the background history on that, but he said, yeah, let's go skip school and go there. It's about a 35-minute drive. It was actually in Rhode Island, in Exeter, Rhode Island. There was a place called the Lad Schools, for people that may or may not know. And it's gone now, but at the time it was there, and he took me there. And man, when I went inside there, I loved it. I don't know how old I was. I just remember I was in 10th grade and I was just like, holy shit, this is awesome. Like, this is so cool. And I was just exploring, seeing like old documents of the place, or I would see like old, there's spoons and stuff. It wasn't too much there. It was so destroyed, but I loved it. I loved how it looked. The outside was ridiculously spooky. I just enjoyed it all, and we explored it up and down, seen the morgue, went inside the top roof, and just chilled. And I just loved the vibe and how relaxed it was. And the best part about it, it was free. Didn't have a job, and yeah, so it was just a nice adventure. It felt like I was in the Goonies. Used to love the Goonies when I was a kid. Yep, inspired by Stand By Me as well. So I really connected hard on this.
Wow. So your first explore was an asylum. Did that give you like an affinity for exploring asylums? Like, do you have a specific type of building that you prefer to explore?
Um, yeah, I'd say asylums would be my number one. Sanitariums, asylums, tuberculosis hospitals, they're
Hmm.
my number one favorite to do. And then second would be a tie though with theme parks.
Oh yeah. I mean, I haven't done too many theme parks, but I feel like that's an untapped market for myself. It's something that I really want to do more of. I've done like little theme parks. Like there's actually one in Rhode Island. Speaking of Rhode Island, there's like an old little tiny neighborhood amusement park that's like barely there. It's just the skeleton of things, but it it's cool to do like theme parks and different things, and the fact that urban exploring isn't just like abandoned houses. There's so many different types of abandoned places out there. For you, when did photography come into your life? Like, when did you first pick up a camera, and then when did you start documenting the abandoned?
Ah, cool. Yeah. So, well, after that day, I went home and I would type in like abandoned places because I was fine. I want to know if there was more. I really enjoyed skipping school. It was like the best thing I ever did was to skip school and go with my friend off, honestly. And then so I Googled if there was any more in my area or just New England in general. And I found so many hospitals that just popped up, like Medfield State School, Plymouth County Hospital, Norfolk, like a lot of them that were kind of prime back in the day that are completely gone or just wasted right now. And so I found the forums. It was like forums on abandoned places, and I found a lot of pictures. I was like, dang, these pictures look good. And I think I just had a cell phone and like a point and shoot camera that took batteries. And I was like, all right, let's try to like take photos like everyone else. Like I'm just trying to fit in. I'm like super young, just trying to figure this out. And so I still to this day have all my old photos, even videos and pictures of when I'm like 16 posing in some of these places. I'm 29 now, by the way. So it's been a while. So um I kind of just downloaded like these phone apps called like Snapseed, and back
Yes.
in the day, and people who know that are old, they'll tell you it's like back in the day, people would like make HDR like a huge thing and like
Yeah.
blast HDR to the fullest for abandoned places, and that was the thing that was in. Like it was
Yeah.
just super HDR colored. It was really ugly, but back then people enjoyed it or liked it,
Yeah.
and I thought it was even good as well. So I'm doing all those. I have countless photos with just this ugly HDR everything, and I thought it was great. And I didn't know anything else about photography except that, just trying my ways until I
Wow.
graduated high school. And then I was like, I don't know, I think it was 19 or 20 is when I first bought my real camera to take photos and start learning.
Wow. So, for speaking of like cameras and things like that, can we go into like gear? So, urban exploring gear for people that are just getting into the hobby. Do you have things that you would recommend? You've been doing this for quite a while. Like, do you have like a bag that you love? Because for me, I went through like 6, 7, 8 bags before I found the one that I have now. So, bags, flashlights, shoes, anything like that that you'd recommend to people that are trying to get into urban exploring.
Um, I mean, well, dude, like back in the day, like just trying to get your hands on a camera with good low light was almost impossible. Like
Yeah.
they were non-existent. I mean, you would have to do the whole, send down the tripod thing and all that. But nowadays, you can kind of almost get away with kind of almost taking like these photos with some sunlight because technology has gotten so much better. Even with bags. I mean, sadly, it's weird, but I mean, I remember I started off with like 4 different bags as well before getting to a bag I like. But the bag I use right now, hang on, I'm gonna pull it up. I gotta see the actual. All right. The bag's in my hand. I'm using the Pro Tactic Active Zone Low Pro bag. It's called BP 450 AW2, and that is by Low Pro, and it's the best, in my opinion. It's the best bag to hold 2 or 3 lenses and a drone and a tripod and your camera at the same time with extra room for like I don't know, your passport, memory cards, a GoPro. It's the best bag. I don't care what other people have because no one would ever convince me to change my bag.
I love that.
And yeah, for shoes, I mean, dang, I don't honestly, I'm one of those guys who like always go unprepared, but I would just bring a pair of Tims and just call it. I'll just wear Tims.
Yep.
Low like ankle Tims, not high top Tims, but just
Gotcha.
some yeah. And for tripods, I'm on a weird one. Hang on, let me see what I'm using. I don't even know what I'm using right now, actually. Someone sent me it, and I really ended up enjoying it. All right, it's a long one. It's called VEO 235CBP. And that's what I'm using. So,
They named
yeah.
their tripod a serial number.
Yeah, right? Yeah, you're kidding.
That's ridiculous.
It's hard.
Yeah.
It's hard to show someone what I'm using.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm got. That's what I got.
Amazing. Yeah. I mean, I love talking gear on this podcast because every explorer has a different preference. And that's what like makes it everybody always asks me like when I post a new episode, like who uses this and like what should I get? And I'm like, I don't know, literally whatever you want. Just try stuff out until you find what you like. Like you were just saying, like no one's going to convince you to get a different bag because you love your bag. And, you know, I've got a Wandered bag. That's what I use. And I've used that for like 6-7 years now since they created the brand. It's been my favorite bag so far. But I know Low Pro makes some really good stuff. So
A Wandered bag.
yeah. They did like
I
a
never heard of
Kickstarter.
that.
So they did a Kickstarter
looking
like
it up.
6 years ago. It's WANDRD, Wandered.
Oh, Wandered.
Yeah.
Let me see. Okay, I've seen some influencers
You've probably seen,
actually
yeah,
use
like
this bag.
Instagram ads and shit. Yeah, they're all over the place. But I actually love this bag, and all my other bags. I used to have like a Nat Geo photography bag. That thing fell apart so fast. I was like, how could any Nat Geo photographer use this? Like, what are you talking about?
Dang, yeah, that's funny.
Yeah, I'm like the brand
is
that you would
funny.
think would be the best is not really the best, you know. So yeah, I love my Wandered bag, and you know I've actually got 2 of them, and I would love to get like a smaller version. It's like a 21-liter bag, so it's pretty big, and I'm a small person. I'm like 5'3", 100 pounds, so I'm not trying to haul around a bunch of gear, you know.
Yeah.
But so you obviously have been massive to the space as far as like YouTube explorers go, and you know that kind of thing. When did you get into making YouTube content? When did you first get into that, and what made you want to go that route? Because you know some people just stay with photography on Instagram, and others go the video route.
Oh man. All right. All right. So I was 20 years old. So about 9 years ago, I watched a skateboarding video about friends that would skateboard in an adventure, but there was nothing really abandoned to it. But I loved how they were just vibing out like Goonies without
Yep.
adventure in terms of the abandoned, but they were vibing out like the Goonies, hanging out. It was so awesome that I was like, dude, it made me buy a longboard. It was a longboarding
Sick.
company. It made me buy a longboard. Yep. And I started longboarding with my friends, and I was kind of videotaping some of that. But and mind you, every weekend I had a new abandoned place lined up to go to, but I was never filming that. I was just
Wow.
filming like my longboarding stuff. And then at the time I was working for this company as like a forklift driver. And I never went to college or anything. I just, I graduated high school and that was kind of it. And I was just realizing that this life sucks. Like I really hated it. And I remember like at the moment, like I was doing, like I said, abandoned places every weekend. I was taking photos. I started to really love it. I was like, dude, like people are at the time vlogging was big, and I would watch some of my favorite YouTubers back in the day, which would be like Fun for Louie.
Mm-hmm.
And I would literally sit there and watch him just eat some of his food and start the day off in the morning. And I'm like, dang, why am I watching this actually? Why am I even watching this? Why is this even something interesting to me? So I was just like, why not I show the other side of me, like going to abandoned places, like the thing I do on the weekend. So then I started off the first one. I went to God, I think it was, oh man, Paul Denver State's, I think it's State Hospital, State School.
Yeah.
And this is in Massachusetts. So some of those people who listen to your podcast would know what that is. That place has been gone for a while. But I went there. I think it was like my first abandoned video or one of them. And I've already been there like 4 times, but I kind of just went and acted like I'd never been there before. I kind of just wanted to I just filmed it. I just filmed it as if I just got there for the first time. I've already done like 40, 50, 100, whatever places for the last like few years. So I already knew where places were. So I just went back, pretend I didn't.
Wow.
I never said I didn't go there before, but I never
Sure.
said I went there before. I kind of just filmed what I seen and how I went with it.
Wow.
Said some history, explored, and did exactly what I would do off camera, but on camera. I've always had that personality where it didn't matter. I never was shy about anything. I just could do anything without people thinking, without me thinking about other people thinking about me.
Yeah.
And yeah, and so I filmed it, and then the first year, because I was the only one, I think the proper people started like a month or two after me,
Uh-huh.
but I don't think they really knew me and I didn't know them. So it wasn't like, oh, I started first or anything like that. I'm
Sure.
not saying that. I just think, it was starting to become an idea that other people were thinking about as well. And so it blew up hard. All my videos were blowing up super hard. And then at the time I was working for that company, and I was like, dang, I'm starting to make some money on here now. This is actually getting cool. I took a little chance and risk and it worked. And then so I ended up quitting my job to just continue YouTube full time for Abandon. And I already had a head start because I knew where all the spots I were going to because I already been to them for the last 3 years. I just went back to all of them and posted a video like one time or twice a week on these locations that I've already went to.
Yo, you're a fucking genius. That's so, dude. Like, you already had the catalog. Like, you already had a map. Like you weren't like
did.
building your map as you went. Like you had a map. Like that's crazy.
I did.
That's so nuts to think about, the fact that you like reverse engineered content creation because you already had the stuff. You just needed to film it. Like that's brilliant,
Yeah.
man. And like
And-
no wonder you blew up so well.
To be fair, there was a little bit more to it. Like I
Sure.
I knew how to edit already
Mhm.
because at the time I used to break dance. So if you notice,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
only
yeah.
a few people my channel is called The Art of Reality Crew. That's actually my URL link. It's not Exploring with Josh. It's
Right.
literally The Art of Reality Crew. And that's because I used to be a breakdancer and I was filming my breakdance stuff on the channel as it started. So then I already kind of knew how to edit. And then I used to do other things. So I was like, wow, all right, I can watch a vlog and know how to edit because I already know how to edit. So I can understand how people are editing and what their style's like. So then I created my own style from Abandon, and I used big stuff that influenced me, which would be like Fun for Louie, his vlog style,
Yeah.
but also video games like Silent Hill and Resident Evil.
Sure.
And I put it all together, and that's how I created my kind of style from years ago. So I was instantly creating stuff that no one has seen or done before, and I was posting it.
Dude, that's so cool. Like I love hearing like the journey of how you got to where you are now. And so do you have any urban exploration injury stories?
No, actually, I never actually got hurt. I fell through a floor ever.
Wow.
Oh my God, I do have one. Shit, I actually forgot about this one. There was an old school, and the door was like, it probably had like a screw on it or something. You just had to like push it open a little harder than it should to get the screw out of it. It wasn't even held on by a board. It was just a screw. So I'm pulling it thinking the screw's gonna just pop out, and the actual door handle snapped in half. And when it snapped in half, the other half sliced my fingers open.
Oh.
And I had to drive with one hand while holding onto my shirt to stop the bleeding to the hospital. And when I got to the hospital, I only had a certain insurance, and they wouldn't even take me with my hand bleeding. So I had to drive to another hospital.
Shut up.
Yeah, and then I had to drive to the other hospital to
fuck.
get stitches.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
Okay, so
that was.
when you get to the hospital and they're like, "What happened?" Like, what did you tell them?
I told him I fell. I just said, "Hey, I fell." Yeah, I said I was skateboarding and I fell. Actually, I remember that. And they didn't care because they're like, my insurance wasn't accepted here, so they told me to leave and go to another hospital.
Oh my God.
So I had to. That's what sucked.
Oh, America.
But that's the only thing, though. Yeah, exactly. I was gonna say that. That's America for you. Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's the only actual thing in like 8 years. I've heard stories of like a few people I know, like, oh, like an icicle melted, like some of
Yeah.
it melted and landed on someone and stabbed them.
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, how does that even happen?
Yeah. I mean, even on this podcast, I've heard people got impaled by spike fences, just like crazy
Oh,
shit,
man.
I mean, and it happens, but I mean, fortunately,
does
I
happen.
too haven't really had too many injuries other than like cuts and scrapes, the normal urban exploring injuries that are very minor, but man, slicing your
Yeah.
fingers open while exploring, that sounds like a bad time.
Yeah, but to be grateful though, that's it. And like doing a
Absolutely.
lot, I've done so many. Like think about it, this ain't just like going on the weekend thing anymore. This is like I'll do 5 a day, or
Yeah.
no, not 5 a day, like 5, like 1 or 3 a day for like a week. It's like a
Sure.
job almost.
Sure.
So like it's like at high risk where like you think you could get hurt or fall through a floor or anything. But like my friend I seen fell through a floor, but he was still all right. But I've never had nothing else happen,
Wow.
and I've been everywhere. Like even some of the spots where, I don't know, like I just think something definitely could have happened where I would fall and I didn't. So I'm
Yeah.
very happy. I might get jinxed. This could be it, but yeah,
Because of
we're
this
doing all right.
podcast. Fuck.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. This is it.
Oh man. So speaking of like risk, like what has been your riskiest exploration? Like I'm talking like, risky as far as like you know, illegal or police involvement or, anything crazy like that.
Well, I did when I was doing Chernobyl, the guides and their whole company, like they knew me. They all, to this day, they want me to go back to Chernobyl. Well, not right now, but they want me to go back to Chernobyl. Um, they just like having me. I kind of boost them up,
Sure.
bring more people to their companies and things like that. So if I say, "Hey, can I do this?" They're like, "Yeah." They'll let me do whatever I want. They don't
Sick,
care anymore.
sick.
But in one, I specifically asked, said, "Hey, can we go down to the hospital room
Mm.
where the firefighter suits are that are
Mm-hmm.
for the people that died from the radiation? Like their suits are still on the ground." I said, "Can I go see them?" And to this day, like even though like I don't know, like I just feel like, man, that was like one of the most dangerous things I've ever done because the radiation levels weren't bad, but it's just like if you were to breathe something in and then it stays in your lungs. I feel like cancer could just come just from that. And
Mm.
I think it could, but like the guide says it was safe enough for us to go down. And he says one of the reasons why it was super safe is because the whole place was flooded with water. So there
Oh,
was really no particles able to kind of like float into the air.
sure.
But man, like just that alone, what if it was just dry a little bit? Or what if there's like a spot that was dry and I breathed some of it in? Like
Yep.
I seen some of the I was doing some of the readings. I don't really understand it now. I kind of forgot. This was like 6 years ago, but some of the readings, man, were definitely like super dangerous. And I was like, what am I doing actually? But
Yeah. I mean, even that
let's just,
Ferris
yeah.
wheel outside, like, like even the radiation on those is pretty crazy.
Oh no, it is exactly. Yeah. So if you take your Geiger counter and put it to it, like touch the
Mm-hmm.
object, you can see that it's dangerous. But if you're around it, you're safe. So that's how he was trying to tell me that that's how it was in the basement. But it's like, man, I don't know. I've seen a lot of people also say that you should have done it and the guy doesn't fully understand. But I mean, hey, he's old and he's still going. He's been doing this for so long, but he doesn't really go down there ever. So I'm not sure. But if let's just say I was safe, then my other thing would be one of the most dangerous things I've done was to sneak inside Fukushima. I'd say that would be the most
Oh,
hardcore
fuck.
thing I've done. Yeah, because that was like being in the red zone without like someone that says, okay, this is dangerous for you or not. And I already did Chernobyl, so I was getting like a good understanding of like radiation, how it affects you. So I kind
Mm-hmm.
of felt like I was okay enough to go inside Fukushima. But man, getting caught there would be like really bad. And I was just out there saying, screw it, let's go film this stuff. And I had no one to help, like no guide, no permission. I was just like, screw it, we're going in. And
Wow.
I feel like that was my most, or some of the most dangerous ones. Except I don't know, maybe Battleship Island could have been the worst one. I don't know. I've done so many where I'm like, okay, like maybe this is the most dangerous one, but maybe that one is, or the next one. I don't know.
Sure. Yeah. No, it's
Yeah.
it's fascinating, the places you've been, like Battleship Island, there's like the side you can see that's like the tourist part where you like walk on, go like 100 feet and then walk back off, get on a boat and leave. But I mean, to
Yeah.
to actually get to like explore these super forbidden places, if for lack of a better term, like what is that like for you? Like talk about the mentality of an urban explorer. Like why do you keep doing this? Like what is it about it?
Um, it's obviously like the basic things everyone will say. It's obviously the thrill.
Mm.
Um, it's somewhat free in a way, I guess. Again,
Yeah.
I'll bring that up. I mean, besides the travel costs, but it's more than that. It's like I get so excited to see these places rather than to go inside a museum and then see them in a book or just see some behind glass.
Mm.
Like even in old houses, like from like the 50s, like American houses that are really preserved. I'm like, wow, this is so awesome to see this because this is something I'll see on Stranger Things now at this point. Like
Yeah.
everything, you know what I mean? Like just that imagine go inside that same house but frozen in time. Like they exist in the US. So I get really amped to see that because if not, I'll have to see them in like a museum now or
Right.
something like that, like the old stuff. So that's like another big thing. And again, it's also just getting that photo of something amazing that flips upside down, like something that you'll see. Or here's the thing, right? Like I'll go inside like a theme park, right? And like families have been have went there countless times. Their memories are shared there. it's some of their most happiest moments with their family together. And then you go there and you're there by yourself and the place is destroyed or upside down. And it's
Mm,
a complete different experience to be there. And then you'll see pictures online and how it used to look. And it's just amazing to compare your shot to someone's family shot with them smiling. And now you're seeing it completely dead and rusted, but they're seeing it alive. And like,
wow.
I love that so much. That's like some of my favorite things. And then being able to post it online so the people can say thank you, like I was there so many years ago and I got that nostalgic feeling because of you. That makes me feel good. That's
Mm,
why I like to post the videos on it, because I get to show the other side of it now that
yeah.
people can't see anymore, or people might have forgot about it, and now it's still there because we can, we're able to like bring it back to life in some way or form.
Yeah. And one of my favorite things about doing this is like getting the emails from the patients of the hospitals or the security guards that say like congrats on getting in there. Like that's pretty cool that you got to go inside, like that kind of stuff like floors me and makes me want to do it more, and just
Yeah,
getting those like patient emails. Like I grew up running the halls of that hospital. Like that's crazy to me. And it just makes it like full circle. And, I visited this abandoned restaurant in Portugal. It's like a 360-degree restaurant that overlooks all of Lisbon. And in my video, I was saying like I want to one day explore this place with the architect that built it.
man.
There's something about like the idea of maybe potentially one day exploring some of these places with the people that built them. I just think that would be the coolest thing ever, like just to be able to experience what they saw it as.
Dude, that would be actually incredible.
Right? Like
Yeah,
imagine like
that's
going back to Chernobyl with somebody that built something there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I get excited just thinking about it right now. If you
Right?
can do that, man, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, it would be crazy. But do you have a favorite exploration? You've done a lot over the years, but do you have an overall like favorite
Man.
exploration?
Um, I mean, Nara Dreamland will always be my number one favorite place, and that's an abandoned theme park in Japan for those who don't know. And what happened was, it's like, I'll say this, it's like if you're in Disneyland or Disney World and you're by yourself, that's how Nara Dreamland is, because they took the idea, they took everything, the castle, they took it all from Disney World and they just built their own copying that. So essentially, you're literally in Disney World by yourself, but
Wow.
everything upside down, again, tipped over.
Yeah.
So you can see everything abandoned, overgrown. You're inside the castle by yourself. It's the best explorer of my life, and it's so cool just to see something that was happy and now like kind of twisted in a dark setting. I just love it.
Yeah.
So that's, yeah, number one for sure.
Super
Always.
sick. Well, like what a cool place. The photos of it are incredible. And I'm dying to go over to Japan and check some of this stuff out because they've got so many cool things over there.
They do. Yeah, yeah. Japan has some of the best, I think, abandoned out
Yeah.
in that country. I like, because that's what's cool about abandoned in other countries. Because you go to France for the mansions, you go
Sure.
to Japan for the theme parks, you go
Sure.
to Germany for some asylums, but also a mix of houses. You go
Right.
to Italy for everything, but you go to Italy mostly for the asylums.
Right. Yeah.
So yeah. So
Absolutely.
every place has different stuff. So that's the beauty of exploring abandoned worldwide, because you see stuff you can't see in your country somewhere else, and what they're known for in different things. It's awesome.
Yeah. So talk about some of the like collaborations you've done, some of the people you've gotten to explore with over the years, like some of your favorite things you've gotten to do with them.
Man, honestly, like I kind of keep low key,
Sure.
like in that field. Like I don't really explore with any other explorers or people. I
Mm.
mean, I explored with Yes Theory.
Yep.
Um, they were really cool. They actually hit me up yesterday. They're asking to do something again, which it's been a while since we've done
Say
stuff.
yes.
Yeah, yeah. I explored with Fun for Louie. I explored with I mean Sam and Colby, but we done a few things together. They're not really like fully into the abandoned
Yeah,
scene, but
they're
if
they're
we're just
doing more
saying,
like ghost stuff now, huh?
yeah, they do mostly ghost stuff. But if we're just throwing like random collabs in general, then yeah, I've done stuff with Sam and Colby, Yes Theory. I've done stuff with a few YouTubers, but in terms of like people that are in like the urbex community, I just stay out of it for the most part.
Sure.
So I don't really explore with other people
Yeah, I
except
mean
like my
fair.
little crew of friends.
Right. Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean fair. Keep your circle tight.
Yeah, usually that's how it is. So,
Absolutely. So what do you do when you're not exploring abandoned shit?
um, well, there's a lot. Like if I'm not exploring abandoned stuff, I'm doing ghost stuff lately, and if I'm not doing ghost stuff, I'm kind of just like hanging out at home resting, because like that's like that's all I ever do. Like I just
Right.
explore stuff, even off camera. Like I still explore off camera. Like I'll go to a small town that's not abandoned, but I just want to see what the town's like, I don't know, cafe has to offer, like what kind of
Sure.
bakery they have. Yeah, I'm
Sure.
like super simple guy off camera. Like I just want to hang out and do like fun or dumb shit. Honestly, like I don't care what it is. I just want to try new things and do whatever. But it still has something to do with like excitement or travel. Like I still want to travel or do something.
I love that, man.
I also I'll play lots of games. I'm in the video games hard. So like off camera, I'm just playing video games. That's literally it.
Love it. Do you have anything you're
Yeah.
playing right now that you're like super jazzed about?
The game called The Quarry.
Okay.
It just came out. The Quarry just came out, and it's like a game where you're kind of picking and choosing what to do. It's like you're in a movie, and then you're just picking where to go. Like if the character goes left or right, you have to pick it. When you pick it, then it makes another new ending that could happen because you just turned left instead of right. It's like something like that.
Sick. There's this game that I heard about recently. It's called like 99 Levels or something. Have you heard of this?
Oh no, what's
Oh,
that about?
99 Rooms. I guess it's like an urban exploring video game from like years ago. But I was on tour in Europe and this guy was like, "Oh, you got to play 99 Rooms." And I was like, "What? What is this game?" And he was like, "Well, if you're into urban exploring, you got to check this game out. It's like an urbex like choose your own adventure kind of like what you're talking about, but with like different rooms, I guess."
What?
Yeah.
I've never heard of this. What's it called? 99 levels?
99 Rooms.
Oh, I gotta check it out.
Yeah. Check that out for sure.
99 levels. Then they come out with another game too, like Chernobyl. Like they made a Chernobyl game.
Did they actually?
They did, yeah. I've
No
seen it. It's an
way.
indie company.
Sick. I got to check that out. I'm like I've been fascinated with Chernobyl for oh my god, over a decade, you know, like I'm 29 as well and the first time I heard about Chernobyl, I was like, "Oh my god, can I go there?" And I've since talked to
Yeah.
a couple people that have gone, you know, and I had a friend of mine did I think a BBC documentary about Chernobyl like a couple years ago, and he got to stay like a week in Chernobyl, like in the buildings, and he said it was insane and one of the coolest things he's ever done. And I have yet to go to Chernobyl, and obviously, like we were talking about earlier, we can't really go right now because you know everything that's going on, but
Yeah.
you know it's definitely a dream of mine to visit. For you, do you have any bucket list places that you haven't been yet that you want to go to?
Um, I think right now it would be the space shuttle.
Oh, the space
Yeah.
shuttle. Oh god.
I know. It's like honestly the last kind of bucket list spot that I'm like, yeah, like it's like a dream to go.
Mm-hmm.
I think I've done everything else. I mean, there's always new spots that pop up.
Sure.
I'm like, wow, I have to go here. Oh my god! But right now, it's like if I could go to the space shuttle, that would be the one I'd go to, or
Yeah.
the one of them on my list. Yeah,
And that one, you know, that one's just like a mission in itself to even get there. And then you got security, and then you got, you know, all this shit you have to jump
I
through, like all these
know.
hoops and stuff. But I mean,
I
man,
know.
what a dream that would be to see that thing. It's so sick.
Yeah, I wish to. I do. Hopefully, but if
I'm sure
not,
you'll
it's
get there.
whatever.
I'm sure you'll
Yeah,
get there.
I'm not like a diehard like I used to be. I won't lie. Like
Sure.
after I do this, I do it a lot, and
Yeah.
like now I'm like, you know, I started doing ghost videos, which I generally really do love, and I
Yeah.
started like wanting to do more travel stuff now. So I still love doing abandoned. It's just like I'm not a diehard like I used to be. Like if I go to the rocket ship, the rocket ship, if I go to the space shuttle or not, I'm not gonna die over it
Of
anymore.
course. Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, that's a good mentality to have, especially with like the amount of risk it has, you know, surrounding it. You know, is it worth it to go? You know, that kind of
yeah,
thing.
no, that too. Yeah, I used to risk it all, and now I'm more relaxed about it. I don't know if
Sure.
because I'm getting older. I don't know, but
I mean, that could have something to do with it, but I mean, also you've done so many things. Like you know, it's understandable that you're not as like I guess die hard about it. You're more relaxed about it. I think that's awesome. You know, I think that you've kind of like gotten into your groove and you're flourishing, and obviously you're growing and your channel's growing, and you're
that's true.
like what else are you doing on YouTube? Do you plan to do like
Yeah.
another channel for your travel stuff, or do you just want to like kind of keep that to yourself?
No. So what I'm doing now is I started another channel called Just Joshing You, and I bought a bus. It's being converted right now into like an RV. Like it's like gonna be an RV bus, right?
Cool.
And I wanna do like a lot of places with. I want to drive places. I want to film like a Route 66 tour.
Cool.
Just film, yeah, random museums on the side of the road, just stuff on that channel. That's what I want to do. And the main channel is still going to stay the same.
Love
So I
that.
just want to add on to it. Yeah.
That's cool, man. I love that you're kind of branching out and getting into more passions, and you
Yeah, more
clearly love
exactly.
travel.
Yeah.
So I mean, like, to
Yeah.
continue that on a different channel is going to be super cool to see another aspect of your personality kind of
Yeah,
shine through.
that too. Exactly, that too. Yeah.
So, if you
So,
could live in one abandoned place you've explored for an entire week, which place would it be?
man, it'd still be Nar Dreamland,
Yeah,
honestly. Yeah.
for sure.
I mean, yeah, I'd say it'd still be that. I mean, that place is just amazing. I wouldn't know what else it would be, honestly. Yeah.
I mean, hey, that's fair. It's a cool ass spot, Like it's got to be at the top of so many people's lists to explore that place. It's just such a
Yeah.
nuts concept. Like you were saying, like going to Disneyland by yourself. Like when is that ever gonna happen?
That's true. I mean, if it wasn't that, I'd say like Fukushima because it's so big and there's so much abandoned there that like it probably would literally take a week to actually see everything.
Yeah,
So it'd be
absolutely.
one or that. It'd be one of those two things.
Got you. So if people are trying to grow their own YouTube channel with urban exploring, do you have any tips for them?
Oh man, that's like so hard to say
Yeah.
now. And I think one of the things is like abandon's like dying in
Yeah.
my opinion for like YouTube. I
Mm,
don't think I think if someone's new starting to do abandon, the odds of growing is like super slim now.
sure.
A lot of people do it on YouTube now, but that's not also a reason why I think you can't do it. I just think in general people don't care about it that much.
Yeah.
People have seen hospitals now for 7, 8, 9 years on the internet that are abandoned. So the viewers and everyone that are around don't want to see that. They want to see like more, maybe, maybe more history to it
Mm-hmm.
and less of like, I don't know how to explain it, like more talking about the history of the place for like 5 minutes and moving on. I don't think it's like, let's get a whole explore, a whole walkthrough. And I think it has to be done different. It's the only
Yeah.
way to grow.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah.
personally for me, I've found that they really like the voiceover commentary, dude. Like they love
Exactly.
that.
See,
That
exactly.
like you were
Yeah,
saying, the history. And I have
exactly.
a video that's on TikTok. It got like 1 million views. It was like my first one to like blow up, and it was just me talking about like how the city left all this contaminated shit in this asylum. Like how can they do that kind of thing, And people
Yeah.
love the dramatic voiceovers over the spooky footage,
Yeah.
man. They eat it
Exactly.
up. So yeah,
That's yeah.
it's
I
pretty
think that's
crazy.
it. It's like stuff for 5 minutes or less.
Yep.
Talking about the history is like more interesting now to people than actually exploring and talking about it and going through the place now.
Yep.
I just think that's how it is. And that's one of the reasons why like I don't know, like I've been there and I've done it kind of thing. Like I want to kind of switch it up a bit. I don't know how I want to do it yet, but even I'm at the point where I'm ready to figure out something different. I
Yeah.
don't know how yet. I don't know. I don't know. There's gonna be a new format. I just
Cool.
don't know when. Yeah, but it's the best way. I don't think there really is no advice I can give except to do that. Is you're gonna have to study, look at my videos, look at the proper people's,
Mm-hmm.
look at some other people, and then how can you do those different? Because right now that's the only way you're gonna grow. Because you're not gonna really grow from doing the proper people or my format anymore because
Yep.
it's just not what's in. It's not the thing that's in.
Absolutely. So
Yeah.
what do you hope for the future of urban exploring?
Um, well, I don't really know because right now all my favorite places that I used to go to are gone. So I
Yeah.
think exploring's almost I think it's gonna be gone in like 10 years, except I mean, there's always gonna be the next abandon.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's like I don't know how this is gonna play yet. I'm not sure myself. I don't know what I hope for it. I mean, because all the like the Kirkbride asylums, all
Yeah.
these things that I love are all getting knocked down.
Yep.
So it's like I don't know if I'll like it 30 years from now because then it's going to be like There's no
Just
architecture that's
houses.
the
Yeah,
same.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
exactly. Yeah. The architecture is not the same as it was
Mm-mm.
before.
Yep.
It's not going to look cool. I'm going to go inside a building and just not really want to take a picture because the hallways, the archways, nothing's the same.
Yeah,
I don't care about
absolutely.
houses that much. There's people that do houses on the internet and on YouTube, and like the house doesn't even look abandoned, and they're posting this, and I'm like, I don't even care about it at all, not even a
Yep.
percent.
Yeah,
I'm just gonna flick. Yeah,
yeah, I could give a fuck about a house, dude. Like,
yeah,
I
yeah.
don't care.
Like there is a time though when houses are interesting.
Sure.
Like if like the owner was like the owner of Coca-Cola and his house is
Sure.
abandoned. And
Yeah.
yeah, like I do like that. It has to have a good story because if it doesn't have a story, I'm literally not gonna go inside. I don't care to even look at your photo because if it doesn't even look abandoned or there's dust on the ground or something, I don't give a shit about that house photo or the video itself.
100%, dude. No,
Yeah.
you and everybody else, I feel. I mean, like mansions cool. Always going to be cool, you know, cuz they're all different. They're usually custom
Right.
built, but like your general house, like I don't care. I don't care about a house, you know, unless it's from
Yeah.
like you said like the 50s, you know, and there's like cool
Yup.
shit in the house, but the only houses I've been in are like hoarders houses and I don't want to be in there anyway.
Yeah, yeah,
Like
it's
that's
gonna smell in there
disgusting.
and
It's
everything.
fucking
Exactly.
gross.
It
All right.
is. It is though. It is.
Yeah. So, last question for you. What is something you know now that you wish you knew when you started exploring?
Hmm. I'd say, well, something I knew. All right, yeah. If it was like YouTube wise, there's so much I wish I knew when I first started. But in terms of like just exploring abandon, um, maybe about like, dang, that's hard, actually.
That's the one that gets everybody.
Yeah. Hmm. I don't know. I don't know. Like I think exploring is also about like fixing up your curiosity so you kind of learn as you go. There's like a whole journey to it and maybe I'm glad I didn't know anything about exploring. I think I like to learn. I like to just learn as I go. Like I travel and I learn. So if I learned everything before I started exploring, maybe it wouldn't be as cool to me.
Mm,
That's like one thing I can look at it, but if there's something I could like I wish I knew before starting, mm, like business wise for YouTube, there's a lot to it. Like if I knew how to make a video now and I started back then, oh my god, there's so much more to it. You'll be so ahead of its time. You know, back then I'm just posting up a video, not knowing how to make a thumbnail, and
mm,
now it's like if I wish I knew now, it'd be titles and thumbnails. That's number
damn.
one thing.
Yeah.
If I wish I first started YouTube back in the day for exploring, it would be how important thumbnails and titles actually are. That
Yeah.
would be an answer I'd give you. But for Abandon itself, I don't know. Like, what is an example? Like, tell me some of yours that you
Shit.
heard.
Okay, put me on the
Yeah,
spot. So
yeah.
something I wish I knew when I started exploring, maybe like I don't know, fuck. I just got asked this question too, and I like didn't know how to answer it myself. But I love this question so much, and like, you know, I don't know. A lot of people say like wear different shoes, or bring a flashlight, or bring glow sticks with you. You know, I have an entire guidebook that I just put out about how to explore abandoned places with tips for literally like there's like 50 tips in this book of how to do this. But like, I guess for me, it would be like I don't know, do more research beforehand, you know, on the place so
Hmm.
you know like maybe how to get in or just the history of the place because without knowing that, like you go into a place blind and don't know anything about it. So you don't maybe you don't know that there's a morgue in the
Yeah.
hospital or you don't know there's a surgical classroom in the hospital, you know? So if you do the
Hmm.
research beforehand, you're going to have all this other information and it's going to make your explore more interesting.
I could say that's a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not bad. There was that website. I wonder if it's still here. Let's see really quick, because that's where I would like do a lot of research before entering the buildings. I wonder if I type in abandoned
Is it Atlas
buildings.
Obscura?
Nah, that one didn't exist yet. I don't think.
Oh, you're talking about
It
old school.
was yeah, it's when I first started. I wonder if it would even show. Let's see. I'm trying to remember the name of it. I probably can't even find it. Let's see. Let's see. It was such a cool website. I really enjoyed it. And like I would be able to find like pictures of the old place of the hospital and
Dope.
like what it was used for, and I would just read them before I would go inside. And that's one of the best parts too, is like when you read about the place and then you go to the place and you see what you were reading about, it
Yep.
just kind of like amps you up.
Exactly.
Yeah, but I can't find it. But all right, so I guess the only thing I could say is the one thing I think that's really important that I wish I knew more of. And mind you, I still did it, is how important it is to wear like I think like a mask for breathing
Mm.
under there.
Mm-hmm.
That yeah, like I wore it a lot. I think I wore it a ton, but there was still a few times where like I didn't bring it, and I just wish I brought it. I mean, that's
For sure.
I don't know what's gonna happen to me. Let's say when I'm 50, like, am I gonna
Right.
be exposed to like from all the asbestos and I'm
Yeah.
gonna have cancer? I don't actually know. I've done this so much that I'm like, it's possible,
Yeah,
but I don't
absolutely.
know.
I
But I
did
still did
this.
wear a mask a lot.
Yeah, I did this episode last year, and during that episode, I was like, one day they're gonna have, those like commercials, like, have you been diagnosed with
Oh my
mesothelioma? Blah blah blah. Like,
yeah.
like you may be entitled for compensation. Like, there's gonna be one of those one day that's gonna be like,
Dude,
did
it's
you
gonna be
explore?
me.
It's gonna be you, and you're gonna be like, did you explore abandoned buildings? You
Oh
may
my
be entitled for
God.
compensation from the government.
Oh my I know. I hope not, but I
Uh,
just feel like it depends because right, I done so much research. Like I was like, all right, like most people, like let's say they're mining. A lot of them have like some sort of cancer now
yeah,
from it but they were mining with no mask and they were under there for like 8 hours every day for a
right.
few 5 or 6 years.
Yeah,
I've done a lot of abandoned, but like I did wear my mask a lot, and a lot of places I'm not kicking the dust around.
sure.
So it's really hard to say. We won't know. We'll never know. But it's one
Yeah.
of those where like we're eventually we're gonna know down the road.
I feel like you're gonna be like the first case study for this because you were
Yeah.
like one of the,
Yeah.
like I
Yeah.
mean, people have been exploring abandoned for fucking ever, but I mean, like as
Ever.
far as like
Yeah.
someone who's documented their journey through it, I mean, you're
True.
one of the
Yeah.
first guys, so it's going to be interesting
For
to see what
sure.
happens like 20, 30 years down the road. And, I hope that one day you pick a camera, like, but down the road after you've like stopped doing YouTube or you've moved on to the next thing or retired or whatever, and you just look back at that first video you posted and just do a reaction video to it like 30 years later. Like, that's what I want to see.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I mean, we'll see, right? We're gonna find out. I hope not. I'm crossing my fingers. I'm praying. So we'll figure that out.
I'm sure you're going to be fine, Josh. But thank
I
you
think
for
so,
coming
too.
on No Tracers. If people want to keep following your journey, drop your social media right here. Let them know where they can find you.
Oh yeah, just type in Exploring with Josh. Same on Twitter, same on Instagram. Oh no, Twitter's I_am_Joshio, but everything else is Exploring with Josh. So I appreciate you having me on, by the way.
Absolutely. Thanks. This was the 100th episode. So thank
Oh,
you.
that's dope.
Yeah.
Dang, that's good.
Well, guys, that was episode 100 of the No Tracers podcast with Exploring with Josh. What a cool freaking episode, man. Like, I've been trying to get Josh on this podcast for quite a while, and it was just so rad to get to pick his brain about exploring and talk to the guy and, kind of get some YouTube advice, because I've been doing YouTube content for a decade as well, and, I've been trying to grow this new channel, No Tracers Urbex, and, it's been a fun time, and with YouTube Shorts coming out, like that's been fun and gained a lot of traction with that. And so I'm super curious to see where Josh goes with his travel content and the future of what he's doing. If you guys want to follow him, Exploring with Josh on everything, I am Josho on Twitter. All his links are down in the description for you guys. If you enjoyed this episode, please share it with somebody. I know people like listening to this podcast on their way to bandos while they're exploring or while they're doing stuff around the house. So let me know where you listen to the podcast on Instagram at no.tracers. If you want to come on the podcast, hit me up. We're going to bank these next 100 episodes. Let's do this. If you want to come on, hit me up at No Tracers or contact at notracers.com. Pick up one of the photography books at notracers.com/shop. And I'll talk to you guys next week with another episode of the No Tracers podcast. Stay strong, keep enduring, go out, go explore something, and remember, leave no trace.